Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it!
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Whether it's a cough, a fever, or something you can't quite name, MMC Now makes care easy. Walk right in, get seen quickly, and your visit connects directly to your MMC doctor. Care you trust, with providers you know, with digital check-in and multiple locations around town. MMC Now is here when you need us.
Murfreesboro Medical Clinic.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Welcome into the Roundtable, WGNS. I'm Andy Herzer, founder and executive director of First Shot. In today, Wes Long, associate head coach at Middle Tennessee men's basketball program. We're in the week of Christmas, which means a lot to you and I. It's just not another week, and that's what I love about you, brother.
Yep.
Is we're celebrating the birth of our Lord and Savior. So with that being said, let's give out some Christmas wishes to the Blue Raiders.
Yeah.
And what you would like to see. Maybe wishes for the staff, wishes for your players, program. Where does it need to go? Some of that.
Yeah. First things first, we said this in the locker room after the game yesterday, before everybody got out of there, was enjoy these next 4 days. And to your point, what it's about, obviously means different things to different people, but hopefully their heart's in the right place or moving in the right place. And one thing that I said to the guys was, you're going home and there's people who really love you, and you're you coming home is the highlight of this season. Don't go spend it all your time at the mall or at your buddy's house playing video games and staying out late with your friends that you're seeing, and you never spend any time with your mom or dad or grandma or whoever it is that's really looking forward. So that's the first wish that these guys, and I think that's important, Andy, moving forward into what we're going to do playing basketball in January and February and March. You got to be mentally healthy and emotionally healthy and spiritually healthy. And, I hope those guys and our staff really unplug, unwind. It's not long. It's 4 days. But you can pack a whole lot of meaningful stuff in 4 days with the right people if your heart's set on it.
Well, again, 4 days is an awful big Christmas break. For a lot of teams.
Yeah, for sure.
Some teams aren't even going to get those long breaks.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you take a break like that and they come back, that first practice when I was doing it was awful.
Yeah.
So what do you do to prepare for that mentally, that you're not now going to, they've been away, that you're not going to beat them up? Because it's going to be bad.
Sure. I think that you accept that it's probably going to be bad before it starts, and that's the purpose of that practice, is to just knock that off. And then if it's if it's not bad, then you're pleasantly surprised. Lower your expectations for the quality of what that's going to look like, and if it's great, awesome. More likely than not, it's going to be pretty sloppy, and I think that's the purpose of it. Let's get up and down. Let's break a sweat. Let's shed off all these bad calories and stuff we put in our bodies over the last 4 days and get moving again, and then come back and you you hopefully have set the table for that second practice to then be super productive and back to the norm.
So when you look at it, you come back and it's not a great Christmas after game present going down and playing Houston. But what do you want to get from the game?
Well, first of all, the paycheck. All right, we'll take the money. And you hate to have to do that, but it's the reality nowadays. If teams are willing to pay to play teams like us, then we need to take advantage. And we'll use those resources to help get good players or help enhance our program, whether it's through scheduling or something we need to have, mostly players. But I think when you're overmatched, there's still such positive that can come from that, and especially when you're playing a team like Houston. A handful of friends of mine in the business, kind of on scheduling, text threads and stuff like that. It's how you find games and hear about games, and just in different little mediums that I work on scheduling with. And over the spring and summer, they say, "You're playing who? You're playing Houston? Like, that's the last team I would ever play. Why are you doing that?" Well, because they're willing to pay us, first of all. But secondly, the challenge. Kelvin Sampson's teams are always extremely tough, extremely physical, play extraordinarily hard. And I said yesterday in another media thing, I think if you asked 100 Division I coaches who's the toughest team year in and year out, you'd probably get close to 100 Houstons as the answer. What a credit to them, but also kind of what a test of where you are for your own guys. Now, you hope it doesn't go horribly wrong and your guys get pummeled and then lose confidence. But I don't think that'll happen. You got to have some success. Best case result, we play a terrific game and we come out of there with a monumental win. What's the most likely result? We have some really good segments and some really good moments and some really kind of proof of concept type things for us, proof of culture things for us. Even if you don't win, you walk out of there knowing, hey, let's take that 12 minutes that we played there and let's duplicate that across our conference schedule. I don't think you know how tough you are until you run into someone who's team. Yeah, that's right. You don't know how tough you are until somebody punches you in the mouth, per se. And then you get to see how you respond. And so we're going to get that opportunity possession by possession on December 29th. I think it's good for our guys. I think our guys are looking forward to it.
So when you get through this, looking back, and we still have one more, I always called it preseason game before we get into conference play. But you've already played a conference game, which I thought you played really pretty good for about 35 minutes.
Yeah, 35 minutes.
And almost thought a couple of times you were just going to really put them away.
Yeah.
Again, when you look back at that game, because it's more important than the other preseason games, what do you take from where your team is right now?
A lot of good. We've played a really challenging schedule, and the common viewer doesn't necessarily understand that. But we've played, I go through it in my mind a lot, and the net rankings change every day. Michigan, who's the number one net team in the country, played Michigan. About to play Houston. They're currently 8 or 9. Murray State Belmont is a top 50 net team. Murray State's a top 75 net team. McNeese is a top 50 net team. George Washington's a top 85 net team. We've played 5 or 6 top 100, top 85 really net teams already. And so
explain the net they've had so many different things
RPI,
over the
net, all that.
So what does the net mean to our fan base here?
Yeah, it's the new RPI. It's the NCAA evaluation tool. It's the NCAA's version of trying to get as accurate and fair assessment of the quality of your team's performances adjusted for the quality of the competition of who you're playing. There's a lot lot of small algorithms and analytics that are baked into coming out with that number. If offensive efficiencies, defensive efficiencies. All right, Wes, what do those mean? How well do you shoot it? How well do you defend other people? What's your rebound margin? What's the margin of scoring margin in the game? So there's a lot of stuff like that goes into it that you could probably lose yourself in the minutia. But obviously the best thing you can do is beat the best teams you can possibly beat. All right, so we're currently, I think this morning, 131st or 130th in the net. It ranks you. There's a 1 and there's a 366 in Division 1. So we're 131st. Had we been able to beat Michigan, that obviously would be a huge win. But as far as net consequences, instead of being 131st today, we would probably be 61st because of that one win. We played 35 really good minutes in the Cayman Islands against McNeese. Had we won that game, that's probably a 35-40, position net win because it's a top 50 net team. Well, how does McNeese State end up in the top 50? They've done two things: scheduled good teams and beat a few of them, and then the bad teams they play, they blow them out. And that's what I was about to say. That's the second thing that can really help you. If you play what the net views by ranking as inferior competition, then there's an expectation that you're going to blow those teams out. And if you do, it positively affects your net. Well, when it comes to scheduling at the mid-major level, the first thing is, how do you get those teams on your schedule?
You can't unless you're going to pay them.
Yeah, you got money. You got to have money, or you've got to be playing in a league. Even if you're a really good team, playing in a league where that team who is expecting money, I won't call them the bad teams because that's not fair to the coaches of where they are. The lower level teams in Division I, they have two expectations when they're scheduling. Either we're going to get paid to lose, all right, and every now and then we'll throw an upset and that'll be a double win. We got the check and the win.
So how would you like to be Fort Wayne?
Oh, man.
Beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, so they're going to get paid, or we're going to go play a game in a home-and-home series at a place where, hey, if I'm Fort Wayne, yes, we'll go to Southern Indiana. We'll go to Northern Kentucky, and then next year they'll come to us. They'll do that with them, all right? The Conference USA is in this little sweet spot. It's not so sweet, I guess bitter spot of being, last year we were the ninth best league according to the net. 31 leagues in the country. Conference USA was the ninth best league. Okay. Now we're the 11th. KenPom rankings, we're the 11th best league. Well, if teams from leagues 24 through 31 are going to play us, they're expecting to get paid. And what's the payment expectation? Well, it's not like $5 or $10 grand. I wish
like
it was.
It used to be.
Right. Then we would play those teams, But, for a long time there was, why don't y'all play Tennessee State? Well, they want $85 grand to drive 30 minutes down from Nashville.
It's Lipscomb too.
Yeah, Lipscomb too. Well, why don't we pay them 50? They're not coming. They said, well, if you'll pay us 85, we'll come. So for 50, you're even if you can buy somebody for 50, you're not getting a team that you're going to beat by 26. You're getting a team that you hope to beat for 50. So that's the scheduling is hard when it comes to getting the games you want. And what ends up happening is solid mid majors, like a lot of our league and ourselves, we end up just playing each other in the non-conference because they're in the same spot. So let's play UAB every year, and let's play Belmont, and let's play Murray State because they have similar trouble getting games.
And those aren't easy games.
No.
That's what people really, you look at it, you say logistically those are good games.
Right.
But they're very tough games.
Very tough. I mean, you got really good teams.
Let's look at some of those similar conferences so our audience knows. So when you're looking at who will play you home and home,
yeah,
what are those who are those conferences? Conference USA is playing
Missouri Valley, American.
MAC.
Yeah,
Mid-American.
in some ways, yeah. Upper half of the MAC, lower half wants money, but yeah. The American, which nearly half that league is old Conference USA teams now.
Right. Sun Belt.
Yeah, just depend. I mean, again, kind of upper half of Sun Belt, and this is no. Here, I'm going to pull it up on my phone, so I'm speaking.
I'm just sitting logistically. Where do you get those games then? Because you got 30 games you got to play, and
31 next year will be 32. It's funny. My wife doesn't know everything about basketball, but she is very has a knowledge of scheduling because there's it's like a small celebration in our home at the beginning or middle of every summer when I come home one day and say, I think I finally got the schedule finished, because she knows how difficult it is. It's like being an ugly guy in a room of pretty girls. You get a lot of no's. Like, you get a lot of no's before one of them says, "Oh, I actually think he's pretty cute," and they say yes.
No, they think they can win. Let's just be the real truth needs to come out. Hey, this is the game we can win.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, you're asking about the MAC. You're asking about the Sun Belt. Again, none of these comments are anything bad to those leagues, but right now in the KenPom net rating, which is a great tool, maybe the best. We're the 11th best league. Just ahead of us at 10 is the American. Just ahead of them is the Missouri Valley. Last year it was us, American, Missouri Valley. And right now it's Missouri Valley, American, us at 9, 10, 11. But the Sun Belt right now is the 20th rated league.
Wow.
Right.
Big drop.
Yeah.
In my pea brain, that didn't, you got teams in it that are.
Yeah, and I think that's because a lot of resources have gone to football in that league. It's become a very football-centric league.
Yep.
And that was the moves everybody made a few years back, whether they publicly said that or not. They were football-driven when they went to the Sun Belt, the Fun Belt. So they're the 20th ranked league. Well, that means there's 19 leagues. I mean, you think about some leagues that are above the Sun Belt. You never would have thought of this before. The Southland, that's rated above the Sun Belt right now in basketball.
So give a few of those teams so somebody might catch them.
Sun Belt teams?
Southland.
Oh, Southland teams. Well, McNeese is the best. Stephen F. Austin's back in the Southland. New Orleans, Corpus Christi, Lamar, Nicholls State. Not teams that you say Nicholls State, and then you turn around and say Louisiana Lafayette or Southern Miss or Old Dominion. All those teams are Sun Belt teams. You're not thinking, Nicholls State's in a better basketball league? Well, yeah, now. So I guess the point is, you're not getting Louisiana Monroe is in the Sun Belt. Marshall's in the Sun Belt. You're not getting Louisiana Monroe to come to Middle Tennessee and play in a home and home. Like they're not doing it. So scheduling's hard, and you end up the schedule we had this year. All right, there's two people that are giving us money, Michigan and Houston, and the stature of those programs, those are Michigan's a national championship contender. Houston played for the national championship last year, and they're always in the mix. That's who's going to play us. Last year Coach Barnes played us at Tennessee. Well, when we played them, they were number 1 in the country. We can't get your lower-tiered Power 4 teams to play us, and they're definitely not going to play us and pay us. So if they're not paying us, they're not playing us. And so we're going to play those two top 10 teams. All right, we've got 11 non-conference games. We're going to play those two top 10 teams. We had 6, and 3 of those 6 were in the Caymans. All right, then we had at Evansville, and then home games against Belmont and UAB. And so you're looking at an 11-game non-conference. 2 are against 2 of the best teams in the country. All right, so now you're down to 9. Then you got 6 against UAB, Evansville, Belmont, Murray, McNeese, George Washington. All right, I'm going to go back through that. The only one of those 6 that I just named that's outside of the top 110 is Evansville. And the only one that's between 85 and 110 is UAB. Everybody else of those 6 is in the top 83, 82 teams in the country. So we said, all right, we need to go 3-3. Hope, if it's good, it'll be 4-2. If it's exceptional, it'll be 5-1 in that group of games. Well, why do you guys play these non-1s? And some people can get frustrated at that because they don't understand the backstory to it. Well, number one, we can afford them. It's not somebody that we have to pay $90,000 to come play us. It's somebody we can pay $4,000 or $5,000 to come play us. And number two, there has to be a balance because, again, without $90,000, we're not getting a team that, all right, if we play decently well tonight, we'll win. And if we play pretty well, we'll win by 15 or 20 plus. We're not getting that without it. And so
let's talk about that Cumberland game. I always think those are trap games.
Yeah, that's what Coach called it yesterday.
And explain what it means that it's a trap game.
So you play Kennesaw on Wednesday. It's a conference game. It's a team that's picked in the top couple, 2-3 of our league. Obviously an early conference game. It's a good one. We win. Any conference win's good. To kind of grit that one out like we did is good. Christmas is coming up. These guys are excited. Nowadays they have money to actually make Christmas look like what they want it to look like. And they get to go home and see all their buddies. And then after that, they get to play Houston. Well, it doesn't matter whether we play Tennessee or Michigan or Houston. As soon as our media people in the house, release our schedule and our guys know who we're playing, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth things that I get said to me by our players is, Coach, thank you for playing Tennessee. Thank you, Michigan. Man, this is great. I can't wait to play Houston. So those guys our guys have those marked on their calendars for a long time. Well, then you nestle right in between conference game and Christmas in Houston. You nestle Cumberland. And no offense to them.
None.
At all.
They played their tails off.
They played their butts off, and they were really well coached. And we thought that in preparation. And these guys are well coached. They have a cohesiveness and a scheme that they know what they're doing.
Offensively and defensively.
Both sides. But you nestle that in there, and Coach did a really good job, I thought, a warning, sounding the alarm of here's what, if you want it to look this way, then we have to look this way. And for 20 minutes, we did not.
Well, we're going to take a break and be right back with Associate Head Coach Wes Long.
Whether it's a cough, a fever, or something you can't quite name, MMC Now makes care easy. Walk right in, get seen quickly, and your visit connects directly to your MMC doctor. Care you trust, with providers you know, with digital check-in and multiple locations around town. MMC Now is here when you need us.
Murfreesboro Medical Clinic.
Sign-ups are going on right now for First Shot's Winter Basketball League in Rutherford County. Coach Andy Herzer guides kids to sharpen basketball skills and build teamwork through exciting clinics and games. Since 2003, First Shot has empowered youth to grow in mind, spirit, and body. Don't miss out. Join the fun and develop lifelong skills. Visit firstshottn.org today and register for the Winter Basketball League. That's firstshottn.org.
Hello, I'm Adam Tipton with Farm Bureau Insurance. For over 75 years, Farm Bureau Insurance has proudly served Rutherford County, helping protect what matters most to our neighbors. If you're new to the area or just new to us, please give us a chance to earn your business. Give us a call at 615-893-1213 or visit us at 818 South Church Street in Murfreesboro. Our agents and staff are ready to serve you. From our team to your family, we wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Insurance should be simple, not complicated. That's why at Rayburn Insurance, Agent Rick Hull cuts through the jargon and helps you understand your options clearly. He's committed to finding the right coverage that fits your unique needs and budget. Their team has been a trusted partner in the community since 1973. Ready to make insurance easy? Get with Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. He's ready to help you get the protection you deserve.
Good Neighbor Events is brought to you by the law offices of John Day, AmeriCare Pest Control, and Old National Bank.
This is a paid legal ad.
At the law offices of John Day, we take only real cases that make a real difference.
The law offices of John Day took the burden really off of my shoulders.
So if you think you're going to get rich quick with a frivolous case, I'm not the lawyer for you.
I want you to know that I appreciate everything you have done so much. I know you went over and beyond.
If we're not able to help or aren't the right lawyer for you, we'll do the best to point you in the right direction. If you've been injured, call the law offices of John Day for a free consultation.
Now, WGNS Good Neighbor Events. You hear us talking with the folks at Greenhouse Ministries. They wouldn't be able to operate if it wasn't for the volunteers. Learn how your volunteer skills can benefit Greenhouse Ministries. There are volunteer orientation sessions every Wednesday at 2 in the afternoon, on Thursday mornings at 10, and on the last Saturday of each month at 9 in the morning. That's at Greenhouse Ministries, 307 South Academy Street, here in Murfreesboro. And especially this time of the year, when we're missing people who are close to us, a grief support group can mean so much. There are free grief support groups every Wednesday morning at 10 at the St. Clair Senior Center. That's at 325 St. Clair Street, the St. Clair Senior Center. Bells will be ringing here at WGNS as 2026 rolls in. That brings with it our 79th anniversary. Yes, this radio station rang in the new year of 1947, so it brings around another anniversary, our 79th. Thank you for continuing to depend on your Good Neighbor station. Those are Good Neighbor Events.
Rutherford weather.
Partial sunshine develops here this afternoon with a high in the upper 50s. Tonight, a slight chance for rain, late, cloudy, and a low around 50. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki from the WGNS Rutherford Weather Center. Currently, it's 43.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Sharing Change has donated now over $12 million to local nonprofits. Find out how your spare change can make a big impact at sharingchange.org.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome back into the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herzer, Executive Director and founder of First Shot. Mark your calendars. April 26th, the Sneaker Ball. Guest to be named later, but it's a big one. And then the 27th of April is our golf tournament, the Jimmy Allen Golf Scramble. Wes, welcome back in. Let's take a 30,000 feet overview of the league. Early play, who's playing well, any shocks, surprises to you in the league? Kind of give an overview. Who's 1, 2, 3, whatever.
Well, yeah, I don't know that it's that easy. You know, the one thing that has become the norm now, Andy, and probably for most people, is newness is the theme. You know, like I saw a YouTube clip last night laying in bed, and it was the UAB players pouring water on Andy Kennedy last night. They beat UNC Asheville, and it was his 400. It was Andy Kennedy's 400th win.
You know that, and let's talk about that. That's pretty amazing for Andy.
Yeah, man,
it's a huge mark.
Yeah, I think he's a really good coach. We enjoy playing their teams. One of their assistants, associate head coach, is a good friend of mine, so we work on scheduling together and talk a lot of junk to each other. And we obviously have been fortunate to beat them the last couple of years, including this year. And he texted me this past week and said, "Hey, let's look at dates for next year's game. So we'll play another one of those." 50-50 games, and this time it'll be in Birmingham. And I said, hey, how about let's cancel it, and you let us go out on top. We've won 2 in a row. We don't want to come back because that's a tough place to play. Bartow's a tough place to play, and we've won a few times there, but we've also had some nightmares. Anyway, but he made a comment in that little celebration video that I saw. Hey, 400 means a lot. Thank you guys. Speaking to his players, thank you guys so much. Let's get about 20 more with this group. I'd love to have 20 more with this group. And he said this group a couple times, and it made my mind twirl, thinking like that really is what this has become. Like this group is going to be different than next year's group, like very different. And that's not just coach speak. Every year is different. Now it's really different. Yeah, that's a real thing. So newness, I would say, is the theme. New Mexico State seems to be pretty good. Liberty's always good.
Talk about who's the coach out there, so we kind of get.
Yeah, Jason Hooten. He spent a long time at Sam Houston, who's also in our league. Really good coach. Always kind of had the chops of being a really good defensive coach, and so he took the New Mexico State job 2 years ago. And this was his 3rd year, and I think they've got some resources now, and he's got a good roster, and it's a fan base out there that supports basketball and appreciates basketball. Great historic arena, big arena, and they come, and so I think he's got a pretty good team. They actually played a conference game last night. They played Sam Houston last night, and that I would think is 2 of the better teams in our league, and New Mexico put it on them. Ended up winning by 9 or 10, but it was a pretty good beating. I think they're pretty good. Liberty, Richie McKay is always good. They beat Dayton 2 days ago. Liberty beat Dayton. That's no small task at all. So went to Dayton and won. So a great win for our league and for Liberty.
But look at that league that Dayton's in.
Yeah, A-10.
Are they paying you guys to come? They're what, 6, 7?
Yeah, I was going to say situationally, I would say. I don't know what the deal with Liberty was. I would tend to think they didn't, but they might have. As far as your question of pay, the Atlanta 10 is 7th. And again, that's who you are in that league. I was an assistant at VCU for a while, so I would say the cream of that league historically is Dayton and VCU and Dayton. Danny Hurley was at Rhode Island for a bit and had them going. Richmond's had some good teams. Obviously, Bob McKillop had some good teams at Davidson. Phil Martelli had some really good teams at a time at St. Joseph's. But year in and year out, Rick Majerus had good teams at St. Louis. But year in and year out, Dayton and VCU. So I know what type of buy game budget we had at VCU, and it was great. And I haven't been there in 9 years. I haven't coached there in 9 years, so I know it's probably even better now. St. Louis has money to buy games. Dayton, all of them have some, but that whole league is not paying people like us. So I don't know what that would be. I hope for Liberty's sake that they did get paid. I hope they got paid and they went in there and got the win. But I think New Mexico State's good and Liberty's good. I mean, here's the reality. I was in a text conversation with another coach again late last night, and he said, "I like your group. Watched you on film as we prepared for such and such." It was a common opponent. I said, "Yeah, I think we're okay. I think we're
you're a different team than last year.
We're different. Yep." And I was just about to say, I said, I think we're okay. I think we're going to be pretty good. I think we can be pretty good. We got to continue to get better, but fairly pleased with a lot of the things that we've done so far. And I said, we're not as talented as we were last year. And his retort or reply was, nobody in mid-major is except a few with money. And I think he's right. Like the mid-major teams, especially non-football playing schools who've been able to say, hey, here's $3 million or $4 million in NIL salary, for a single team. Like, hey, we're going to put $4 million into this roster.
So name what those schools are so our people know. Is that a St. Louis? Is that a VCU?
Well, there's ones that surprise people. In general, the American Conference. So we were talking about conference rankings just a little while ago, and the American is one notch above us. We're 11 in Conference USA. They're 10. Generally speaking, American Conference teams have between 2 to 3 million on their roster in basketball. Okay, 2 to 3 million. I would say that Conference USA's upper tier team has 1 million. Okay, so you're talking about the American, which is one notch above it, having double the money, double 2.5 times the money to pay players. A place like VCU or St. Louis, $4 or $5 million rosters. VCU is rev sharing on average close to $400,000 per men's basketball player. You multiply that times 15, and you can figure what that is. So the numbers are crazy, but there's some that Murray State has $2 million roster. We beat them. That feels good when that's what they paid and you beat them. Murray State putting $2 million into their roster. High Point is one that people don't but somewhere between $3.5 or $4 million in the Now they are the outlier in their league, but they've decided we're going to put a bunch of money into basketball, and we want to make this a destination for players. So there's teams out there like that people don't necessarily understand. Hey, we were in a recruiting battle for a kid this fall, and he ended up going to High Point. Well, they paid a lot more than what the other schools, including us, were able to. And that was just the reality. So there's that. There's some outliers at the mid-major level that and it's usually non-football playing schools. That have the ability to really pour that in. So, I think when you look at our league, what you're going to see is over and over is like, wow, this is new, this is different. This is what his team looked like last year, and now this is what they look like this year, and it's different.
So when you're saying that and recruiting, we're going to talk about the two most important things. We already talked about the second most important thing, and that's scheduling.
Yeah.
First most important thing, with knowing where you are at, how do you recruit, and how do you go about it?
Yeah. Well,
has it changed?
Yeah, it's changed a lot, but I almost think that the money has just crystallized what everybody wanted to be the most important thing all the time. And what I mean by that was, for a long time, the most important thing, and it still is to some, not most, but some, the most important thing was, can I play? Coach, I want to play. I want to be on the floor. Do I have an opportunity to play? I think for if I'm looking at it through the glasses I'd like to look at it through, it's because the kid's competitive and loves competing and loves the game and all this good stuff. And I think there always have been, and I think there always will be young men who that is what it's about.
Yep.
They got some salt to them, and that's what it's about. But more times than not, it was I want to be on the floor so I can show what I can do. So at some point I can make a lot of money. Professionally, I can make a lot of money. And that's not a bad thing to want that either. I'm not saying that. But now it's, how much money can you pay me, and am I going to play? And usually those two things go hand in hand. If we get it right, we as coaches, it goes hand in hand. So the first thing, I like to look at things through a lens of graciousness and not what we don't have, because I don't always believe that more is better. But in this case, more money to recruit is better. Just opens up more options. Now then it's on us to manage it well and allocate it correctly, just as coaches. period, in this industry. Allocate it well, manage it well, give it to the right people, get those people to play as well as we think their talent serves them. But there's always going to be somebody with more, and you're probably going to always want more as you continue to get more. So each year, hopefully it increases. We're working hard to get it to increase so that we can do what I just talked about. That's really important to us, to be able to recruit and not lose to people that we think we shouldn't lose to in recruiting because of money. But with what you have, when you finally get to the place each recruiting cycle, all right, hey, here's what we have. Here is the pot that we have. Then it's kind of money ball, and there's a fun aspect to that. Like the tiring part, Andy, is what we're really looking for, and this doesn't mean $0 because we have some guys that get paid very nicely. But what we're looking for is like to get bang for our buck. Let's find the diamonds in the rough that man, we really get good value for Middle Tennessee out of this kid, and the kid gets good value from us. He's fairly compensated, and let's get that right. And credit to Coach McDevitt and our other assistants and our staff. We have done that in the last 3 or 4 years a lot. We have gotten a lot right. You don't get them all right, but we've gotten a lot right. The tiring part,
the Power Fours don't get it right.
No, you're always
they have more resources than you guys do to get it right.
Right. They just gives themselves more insurance because they have money to
blow.
Yeah. Well, and they can give a guy that would have been extremely important to our success, they can give him 8th, 9th, 10th place money on their roster. So he's on their roster and not ours, and he would have been extremely important to our success, whoever he is. So they have a little more cushion because they have more resources. What I was going to say is that the kind of the tiring thing is when you do get it right so often, that's like Andy Kennedy said, this group, and you're going to have to go do it again. We've had that conversation in our offices, hey, talk about player X, player Y, player Z. Man, we got that one right. It helped us. That was fun. Okay, now he's gone, and we gotta do it again.
So, the interesting, you just mentioned off air how much you've enjoyed Coach Farrar.
Yeah.
Right? Those guys at the junior college level had to have that mentality 30 years ago.
Yep.
So it's almost now you're having to shift gears to me. You're going to have them 1-2 years if you've identified right.
Correct.
How do again explain that to our listeners?
I think that at different stops along my career, I've had JUCO buddies, guys that are coaching at JUCOs. And just like all of us, they always say, hey, when you get a job or when you have influence on, even if you're not the head coach, let's say I'm where I am now, associate head coach, and you have some influence on this staff, will you help me get on? I want to get on. And if it's somebody that I'm close with, I'll say, you're more valuable where you are to us than coming on to our staff. What do you mean? Because you have players and we have a friendship, and you need to stay where you are, where you keep having players so you can send them to me. As soon as you're not there anymore, you don't have players anymore. Now you're on our side looking for them, right? And so I think it should give all of us who never lived that junior college life a great appreciation for those guys, because that is exactly what they've done for years and years, is get good players, and their job was move them forward onto the 4-year school. You could get real jaded and jaded's the best word about where this thing's going. I think if, man, this kid came in and played for us and he was only here 1 year or 2 years and now he's gone. But the way we've chosen to look at that is, all right, here comes player X. We think he's talented. We think he's good. If he is talented and is good for Middle Tennessee and he leaves after a year or two, that probably means we've had some pretty good success. And so let's look at it that way. Thanks for your service. We hope we were good for you. You were good for us. Retread. Let's go find the next one, And it just is what it is. I don't know where this thing will land in the next 5-6 years. But you better ride that train. I mean, that's what you have to do.
Well, we're going to kind of shift gears a little bit. What are the things that this team's done well so far?
Yeah. The one that pops off the page is really taking care of the ball. We've had some teams at middle that did not take care of the ball and turned it over way too much. You'd have acid indigestion from we would, from how much we turned it over, and we're just careless with it. And this team has been the exact opposite. Now, we didn't take great care of it yesterday, but
I think you got to throw that game out.
I do too. But what I was going to say, we have 2 point guards in Javin Carter and Sean Smith that through the first third of the season have right at a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, both point guards, and that's terrific. We have one player on our roster, one guy with a negative assist to turnover ratio, and he's had a little slump, a little 2-week slump, but when you're playing 10 guys or 11 guys and 9 or 10 of them have positive assist to turnover ratio and your point guards are 3-to-1, man, it gives you a chance because you're at least getting a shot up every time you come down the floor. You're getting a chance to score. We talk about scoring chances a lot and wanting our scoring chances to exceed the opponents. Let's increase ours. Well, how do you do that? Take care of it in offensive rebound. That increases your, if you turn it over, you lose a scoring chance. If you get an offensive rebound, you get another scoring chance. And then we obviously want to turn them over and keep them off the offensive glass. And we want those scoring chances to be +6, +8, +10 in our favor at the end of the night. And we've done a really good job of that. One thing we've done it in stretches, but not long enough stretches. And our whole staff, and I think we're right about this, it's a group that can really shoot it. We haven't shot it particularly well yet, but we're not turning it over. And I think when as a group we start shooting it really well, we've got a chance to be pretty potent offensively. So that's the first thing that pops off the page. The other one is they're super unselfish.
And I love that. We're going to come back on that point right after our final break.
Whether it's a cough, a fever, or something you can't quite name, MMC Now makes care easy. Walk right in, get seen quickly, and your visit connects directly to your MMC doctor. Care you trust, with providers you know, with digital check-in and multiple locations around town. MMC Now is here when you need us.
Murfreesboro Medical Clinic.
Every holiday season, MTE joins in the fun, supporting and taking part in local Christmas parades. From Murfreesboro to Fairview to Franklin, we light the streets, celebrate with our neighbors, and share in the joy of the season. Good energy is the heart of the holidays, because it's more than electricity. It's the spirit that powers every celebration.
Merry Christmas, Rutherford County. I'm Kenneth Barrett. I'm running for sheriff in 2026. This time of year brings back lots of great memories of those who have gone before us, those still with us. I love sharing time with my family, friends, swapping stories, and laughing. I've been proud to call Rutherford County and the Sheriff's Office my home my whole life. When elected sheriff, I will continue to work hard, keep our families safe, and serve with honesty, integrity, and heart. From my family to yours, Merry Christmas.
This is Shannon Woodfin Parsons from Woodfin Funeral Chapels in Murfreesboro and Smyrna. The holiday season can be very difficult. We want to wish everyone a happy holiday season, especially those who have lost a loved one. This is Shannon Woodfin Parsons with Woodfin Funeral Chapels, serving our community since 1893.
Merry Christmas, Rutherford County. I'm Kenneth Barrett. I'm running for sheriff in 2026. This time of year brings back lots of great memories of those who have gone before us, those still with us. I love sharing time with my family, friends, swapping stories, and laughing. I've been proud to call Rutherford County and the Sheriff's Office my home my whole life. When elected sheriff, I will continue to work hard, keep our families safe, and serve with honesty, integrity, and heart. From my family to yours, Merry Christmas.
WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome back into the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herzer, Executive Director and founder of First Shot. Welcome back in, Associate Head Coach Wes Long. Wes, we were talking about something, and it's rare that you see this today, is how unselfish. I said it the very first practice I went to.
Yeah.
I mean, you see it, and what people don't realize, if you see it in practice, you're going to see it in the game. So talk about what makes this. There's someone on this team that's making themselves very unselfish to make this team better. Is it a group?
Yeah, it feels like a group. I mean, smarter people could probably figure it out, smarter people than me, but it really is, I want to just say good guys. I think one thing that has changed, and some of this is bad in my view, but it probably helps create this unselfishness, is, there used to be, I'm a Clemson guy, I'm a Carolina guy, like I'm a freshman here, I'm an Indiana guy, I hate Purdue hates Indiana, la-da-da-da-da. And so you had this collective on the wrong end, this collective ego, all right, that created stuff. And then on the positive end, you had this collective me versus you mentality, all right, which probably created good stuff, all right. Now, I think one reason that we're seeing the unselfishness is there's not that territoriality anymore. I guess that's the word. Because a guy that was played for UAB last year, he might be on your team this year. And a guy that played for Western Kentucky last year might be on your team. He might be your teammate this year. And, we have guys that are on our team this year who were teammates at another place. And it's rare that we go through a scouting report where 2 or 3 guys on our team haven't been teammates with a guy or two on the other team. All right, is that good or bad? But what I think has happened we're talking about unselfishness, is in their eyes, and kind of maybe ignorance is bliss for guys like me and you, they're playing ball. And they're playing ball with teammates, and my point about being a Purdue guy or a middle guy or a Western guy, that doesn't really exist anymore.
Just does in the fans' minds.
Correct. But in the players' mind, and so what happens is they're accepting of whoever their teammates are this year, if that makes sense, and whoever their teammates are next year is going to be somebody
they're
different.
They're going to be accepted too.
But here's an example that's not in our kitchen, but it involves us. Justin Porter played for us for 3 years. Butter Johnson played for UAB for 3 years. Now they're teammates at Clemson this year. Well, one of Clemson's assistants is a great friend of mine and was here with us. He said that those two guys are great. So if you'd have said 20 years ago, a middle guy and a UAB guy hate each other and now they're going to go play on the same team, that's not going to be good, But I just don't think they look at it that way. So Nick does a good job of cultivating unselfishness and making that the standard by which we're going to play. And we've done a good job, no pat on our own back, but thankful for the grace of God. We've done a good job of bringing in good human beings and good kids. And so I think the combination of Nick doing a good job cultivating it and good kids who just play ball and a teammate is a teammate, and it'll be a slew of them over the course of my 4 or 5 years. There's not this selfish nature that you know, there's not a pecking order per se. You know, if you were a freshman when Michael Jordan was a junior, man, there was a pecking order. You know what I mean?
There was a pecking order when I played.
Yeah.
You carried we only had 2 managers. If there's anything left, the freshman carried it. Right.
And
there was a pecking order.
And I think there's some negatives that's gone. Well, no, I think there's some negatives that's gone.
Okay.
You know, because it was kind of an earn your stripes kind of thing, and there's times where we want there to be a pecking order. You know, hey, you need to assert yourself as that was one thing in the locker room yesterday at halftime. Who's going to step up? That was real bad. We have to go out there and fix this right now. But that can't just be you're looking at me and I'm looking at you and you're looking at him and he's looking at him. Like someone, who is it going to be? I mean, Nick posed the question. Is it going to be an upperclassman? Is it going to be a young guy? Is it going to be someone who's been here for 3 years? Is it going to be somebody we brought in this year to be a dude? So there are times we want a pecking order, and I think it's, it leaves a void when there's not one, a negative void. But I think what we're watching, at least internally on our teams when we're coaching, is the fact that there isn't, they just kind of all respect each other because they're all playing the same game. I might transfer, you were a transfer, I might be one in the future. You know what I mean? And so it creates a cohesiveness and an unselfishness that maybe from a source that you didn't necessarily think of, if that makes sense.
It just blows my mind that that's the mentality now.
Yeah,
I mean, you're saying stuff to me that the mentality is we're in this to win games, but we want to win games so we can move forward.
Yeah, and I think that's we could get into another day on the radio of this, but I think there's real positives to that. Are there negatives? Yes. No doubt. But there are also positives. Like it can create a. I used to talk to my teams. I was the head coach at Queens in Charlotte for a while, and this was pre all this stuff we're talking about, right? So we used to talk about have a small picture mentality, and you ever seen those those things that are like 1,000 tiny little pictures, but they create one big, it's like the coolest thing ever. Like, how did that artist do that? So I had one of those in my locker room, and we always talked about consider each of these tiny little thumbnails a possession. And we're going to have 10,000 possessions. And this is what the mural is going to look like. Have a small picture mentality. I wanted those guys to live in the moment. The most important thing is where your feet are right now. If it's practice for the next 2 hours, dive in. Head first to this practice. If you've got homework later, then it'll be that. If you need to call your mom while you're on the phone with her, then it's that. And I preached and pontificated about having a small picture mentality, really being in the moment, enjoying the day, enjoying where you were. Now in my life, it's morning coffee with my wife. And then when I get in the truck, it'll be the next thing. And then at nighttime, it's let's get the first one down, then the second one, then the third, then the fourth, then the fifth. But if you're laying in bed with one of them, be there. Be in that conversation. And then we'll see each other downstairs, hopefully in 30 minutes, but it's probably going to be more like 2 hours. All right. So that was always something that I tried to preach. Well, now one positive of, hey, we're in this, we're competing together, we're trying to win games, we're trying to win a championship while we're all Blue Raiders, and we all hope we're going to move forward professionally or whatever it is. It kind of does create that in the now focus. And I think that's like, when you look at it like, wow, how'd that happen? Well, situationally, it's pretty cool that happens.
Well, I also think it takes the leadership to build that kind of culture. Because doesn't matter how much it's changed, we're still trying to win.
Oh, no doubt, trying to win championships. Yeah, that's absolutely right. At the end
of the day, even those kids.
Yeah, and I think, attention span in humans has dropped over, it's gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. And I think Nick does a good job of this. Like, you hope a really good kid and a really good player is here for 4 years. But let's don't even talk about that. Let's just focus on this team. You know, Andy Kennedy said it, with this group. We're not asking, we're hoping for some of them that we have them like we used to for 4 years. We're hoping that quietly in the back of our minds, but that's not the messaging. It's not, hey, we're only going to have you for 1 year either. We're not saying that, but it is very much, let's focus on this right now. We're not asking them to sit, and this is an analogy, in a 3-hour lecture. We're not asking them for a 4-year commitment. We're asking them to be present and be passionate and be purposeful on this team. And then when this team ends in March or April or whenever, we'll have that conversation.
Well, Wes, it always blows by the hour with you. And I really do appreciate you coming on, and I wish you all the very best, and hopefully we win a Conference USA championship.
It'd be great. Appreciate you having me on. Thanks, Andy. It's always fun.
Subscribe to Big G TV, local content that matters to Rutherford County.